Okay, what I wanted to talk to you today about is something I call the CAR principle. And I think a lot of families in Australia expect that the entire education process is done by teachers at school. And what I'm about to show you may change your mind in regards to that, about how to get your child successful, particularly in Maths and English. So when we go through and learn anything, whether learning a sport or learning music or learning a language, we tend to go through a three-stage process. The first part of that process starts with a C, which is learning the concept. And in general, we'll have someone like a professor or a teacher or an instructor teach us that first part of the concept. So a concept in school, a teacher might be teaching us maybe something like fractions or percentages. And maybe if I was going to learn the guitar or learn the drums, it might be my music instructor who's teaching me a concept, and a concept in terms of teaching guitar might be learning an A chord. The next part of that process is we tend to get a little bit of application after we've been told what the concept is. Now, in school, that might be a teacher who gives you some things about fractions, and then maybe gives the class 4 or 5 questions, or maybe gives you 3 or 4 questions to do for homework. In regards to the guitar instructor, it might be giving you the guitar and making sure that you know how to actually do that A chord, and making sure that you strum it right and get it correct. The last part of this process is probably the most important part, and it's basically practice makes perfect. So our repetition side of things enables children and adults to learn anything and to become good at things. What that does is, by practicing things again and again and again and again, it puts that concept into your long-term memory. And by having it in your long-term memory, it means that we can recall it in a snap, and we can also build on the next concept above it. Now, what actually happens is, in school, our teachers are there to provide us with the concept. Okay, so we have a teacher, and we've got a bunch of kids to teach, and the teacher is there to pass over the concept. We'll also get a little bit of application in school. So the teacher will give some questions in class and might give a little bit of homework as well. But unfortunately, what a lot of parents in Australia don't realise is that this element here, the actual practice and repetition side of it, cannot be done at school. There might be a little bit of it done, but the fact of the matter is it just can't be done at school. And here's 3 reasons why. The first reason is because there's just no time. Okay, between 9 and 3, it's virtually impossible for a teacher to deliver an individualized repetition or practice plan for every child in that school. The second thing is, virtually there's too many kids in the class. And finally, there's lots of different levels of children within that class. So, which begs us to the question is, if you want your child to be successful, and we know that this is the success model, and that you need to be able to drive repetition in order to make sure that your child gets successful, is that where does this element sit? And I'm telling you right now that it sits with parents. Parents needed to drive the practice and repetition side, just like if they want their kids to be good at drums or at music. They have to practice, and exactly the same thing goes for in terms of Maths and English. So the things that I like to ask parents is this, is first of all, do you want your child to become successful? Yes or no? And if you do want your child to become successful, then you've got to put a little bit of work into it, just like you would with anything. At CAMI, what we do is the entire process. We form a partnership with parents and also with students in order to deliver an entire educational management system based on drill and practice. So if you want to see results with your children, and you're willing to put in a little bit of work and take on the responsibility for this element, then CAMI is the answer.